of America, 8:35 on the West, and that means it's time for the I talk over that thing every time. The industry's #1 performance coaching wake-up call to begin. My name is Jason Spurlock, and today is not only a very special day. This is the coolest day of the calendar year so far. You know what I mean? Number one, it is my birthday, and as my birthday gift, there's certain guests that we've hosted this call for quite some time now, and I think over the past year there was like over 200 folks or something that joined us, and there's a handful of those that just absolutely tickle me pink and make me feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And it's always the most the people that not only I resonate with the most, but the people who seem to have so much going on in their life, they're always so gracious and grateful, or they're always so gracious and generous. And when I reached out to our special guest today, Mr. Scott Cole, I just threw in the little chime, "Hey, man, and it's my birthday," and he was, extremely gracious, just from the jump. So I'm absolutely delighted. Scott is seen in the top-selling DVD workout program, Abs of Steel, former national aerobic champion, and featured in the Morning Ignition mobile fitness app. He is our special guest today, joining us from Palm Springs, California. Scott has been featured in over 25 published products, from motivational music to meditation, martial arts. He regularly appears on television as a health and wellness expert. In fact, I just got finished watching a clip of Scott on The Doctors, which is a syndicated afternoon television show. I've watched it many times. But he's also been on ABC's The View, CBS's The Early Show, Live with Regis and Kelly, CNN Headline News, SoapTalk, Food Network, HGTV, and over 500 publications worldwide, from WebMD, Shape, GQ, Men's Fitness, and the Wall Street Journal. It is my absolute delicious pleasure to welcome one of my favorite guests of all time on this little podcast and live Morning Ignition wake-up call, Mr. Scott Cole. How art thou today, my friend?
Hey, Jason, what a great intro, and happy birthday. I'm doing fine out here in sunny Palm Springs.
Yeah, you are doing fine. I saw the picture that you posted on Facebook just a little bit ago. And
my flip flops.
I was jealous, man. I was absolutely jealous. I don't know what the brand is, but I've actually made a joke many times. I actually lived in Encinitas, California, for about a year.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
Oh, love Encinitas, absolutely. And everything. I come from Kentucky, and I have very conservative grandparents. And when I got out there, went to one of these little shops, and I just fell in love with these flip-flops, man. These were just really awesome flip-flops, and they were leather. It was a Hawaiian company and stuff, and they were really heavy, and they were $100. I just made a joke, man. I've got a $100 pair of flip-flops, and my grandmother will kill me.
Well, you're pretty hoity-toity compared to me. I am kind of a male version of a Mel DeMarcos when it comes to flip-flops.
Well, you had me fooled, man.
Countless pairs.
Those look like $100 flip-flops to me, and I was jealous when I saw the picture.
Yeah.
That was awesome, and that's why I bring it up. I love the picture of the flip-flops. It reminded me of my favorite pair of all time.
Well, what I love about California is you can wear them out to dinner anywhere, and so those were my elegant purple palm lunch flip-flops. So I had to share them with Facebook.
Well, it's a great day to post pictures like this and make me envious, simply because it's supposed to be like 3 degrees here tomorrow. So
I know, I keep hearing that on the news, and my apologies to everyone listening that is in a really cold zone, but I'm just pretty happy out here, so come visit.
Anyway, so after that holier-than-thou introduction that we gave you, I mean, seriously, you've got so many credentials that we could literally go on for the entire duration of our time together just by listing every single thing. You've got some amazing videos on your website, and I'll invite everybody to go check you out. It's at scottcole.com. Very simple, scottcole.com, or just do a Facebook search and connect it. I think it's Scott Cole fan page, and you'll see the big.
Yeah, I have a few. I think I told you I have a few Facebook accounts that I'm not sure how they all come together, but just hit me up on one of them, and we'll start a conversation.
And that's why I like you, man. It doesn't even have to all flow, segue perfect together. It just, you get out of your own way and you just make it happen. Everything goes together nicely. Anyway, so after all that jazz introducing you, tell us a little bit about yourself, Scott. You've started out this journey in the mid-'80s, maybe, with Abs of Steel.
Yeah, well, like you, I'm from the South. Yeah, I grew up in Houston, and I went to University of Texas at Austin and was a college cheerleader there. And that's where I got started in movement and music, and working out at a high level because at University of Texas it was very competitive to be a cheerleader. We went, got second in the nationals that year, or one of the years I was there. And I choreographed our routine for that.
And by the way, can I interrupt you? Because you probably
yeah.
went to the University of Kentucky, didn't you?
UK. Well, I like UK. I like UT better.
But they've won like 20
kidding.
national championships.
Oh, yeah, of cheerleading, you mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the gold standard
guys,
for cheerleading is the University of Kentucky Wildcats.
I know. You guys are great. Well, we got second, and I was kind of pissed off because I thought we should have won. But it was our mistakes. So I took that. I saw the National Aerobic Championship on television with my then little nephew. This is 1985. And I'm looking at this TV show going, I could do that. And then I started negating myself, saying, oh, man, they're in L.A. I'm a loser sitting here with my college degree and sitting at home not doing anything. And right when I'm negating myself, my little nephew elbowed me, and he had seen all the cheerleading and stuff that I had done, and he elbowed me and said, you could do that. And I looked at him. It was a big epiphany moment for me, and I said, you're right, I could. So I entered the National Aerobic Championship and used my hopefully brains and brawn, but also my marketing skills. And I got two other guys to do it with me. And we became the first all-male aerobic team to win. And within a few months, I was on the cover, or I was in USA Weekend. I got a men's fitness layout. We were holding Jane Fonda on stage for her Lifetime Achievement Award. We were in Shape magazine. We traveled all over the world the next year. So at age 25, I was kind of thrust into this beautiful world of possibility, entrepreneurial stuff, fitness, wellness, performing, teaching, making a pretty good living and having a blast. So I moved to Los Angeles and continued teaching at the Voigt Fitness and Wellness Center, which at the time Karen Voigt was top in the world of teaching aerobics, and people would fly in from all over the world. We had celebrities coming to classes, Kevin Bacon, Paula Abdul, all kinds of really cool people. And so that's how my career got launched. Actually, was through the aerobic championship, and then traveling the world teaching all levels of fitness at different conventions. 32 countries, I think, is the count so far of countries that I've been to, had the privilege to teach in.
That's
so.
You opened up a complete new can of worms because this is a call for solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, home business owners all over the world.
Nice. I'm all over. I've never worked for anybody.
Well, and I absolutely love that. When you bring up this, you won the National Aerobic Championship just with the prodding of, your nephew, was it?
I'm sorry? Nephew.
Yeah, the nephew that elbowed you to enter?
Yeah, Matt. My nephew, Matt. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. And then you say, because of my marketing skills. So I'm going to come back and touch on that in just a little bit because I think that's a poignant little topic for everybody to. But yesterday when we spoke briefly, you mentioned, and we're going to get into like your segue into balance and wellness and Tai Chi in just a second. But I think a good point to segue into that is, I don't want to call this controversial, but it's an unconventional approach, kind of going against the gurus, if you will, with this mind-body connection. You say, people don't really take into account the body. We didn't really get into that much, but the question was raised, and I gathered that there was something that was profound that was waiting to come out. So I wanted to ask you about that first.
Sure. Well, I feel like there's a lot of woo-woo, heebie-jeebie, hello, welcome to the mind-body workout. And believe me, I can be as woo-woo as anybody. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't make it real for someone, you're not going to change. You may go in and pretend that you're doing something, but unless you really integrate mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and I add creative in there because I think we're all here on Earth for creative reasons too. We all have our talents that we mysteriously brought in. We all have our talents that we have become interested in while we're in these bodies of ours, these temples, and we do our best to take what we have, but also to learn while we're here. So my feeling with a lot of them, I just am not real into the talking heads that talk about the mind-body connection. That's why my job has always felt like it is to really bring the body solutions into it. And my parents could not have been more, I don't want more rhythmless. Very, conservative, sweet, wonderful people, but they were not dancers. Let me just say that. So somewhere, God, the universe, the great mystery, as the Native Americans called it, the great mystery gave me rhythm and movement innately. And I've never taken that for granted. And whenever my career feels like I'm in a lull or I'm not interested, I always go back to the music and the rhythm. So for me, it was all about making the rhythm work for people. And that's whether it's abs of steel, whether it's Tai Chi, whether it's Disco Dojo, whether it's Millennium Stretch. You mentioned you liked my Yoga Tai Chi blend, and that's one of my favorites. To me, the gift that I can bring, that I feel confident with, is putting movement to music and adding the verbiage that makes it palatable for people to listen, laugh, move through their stuff, and hopefully benefit at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And again, just for those of you who are just joining us, we're talking with Scott Cole. Scott is, like he said, he's kind of taught and trained in over 33 different countries, 40-some odd publications, just a list of credentials goes on and on and on. But the thing that I want to make sure everybody is aware of, that Scott Cole is featured in the Morning Ignition Workout app, and you can get his Discover Tai Chi workouts and his mixture of yoga, Tai Chi, and Disco Dojo, which I find fascinating. That's all in the Morning Ignition Workout app. And now someone like me, I've always been attracted to Tai Chi, and this is where I want to go with this next. So thanks for sharing the mind-body connection. I always felt like I would be attracted to Tai Chi for the same reasons I never really felt like I would be attracted to yoga, but once I got started in it, it was immediately a moving meditation for me. It unlocks so many things. I read one of your articles from your website where you talked about how Tai Chi helped you release a lot of anger that you'd carried around for years and years and years. And when you talk about your gift of movement and this fluidity, this was my first time doing Tai Chi. I was out on the back porch. I had my laptop open, with a bigger screen, and so I could follow along. And I never really understood that it was you were mimicking the movements of animals. And so you've got, what is it, standing rooster or something like that, where you bring, one leg up.
Yeah, golden rooster.
Golden rooster. But so tell us a little bit about your transition from abs of steel guy to Zen master Tai Chi expert. But then, if you don't mind, I'm hoping that not only will I relate to this, because I think that other people might relate to this, but those anger issues, simply because, Scott, I believe that this is part of what people in the esoteric woo-woo stuff, they'll call karma, and that it continues to repeat itself over and over because we mask it and deny it. And when you repress that stuff, you continue to act it out over and over, and that becomes your mirror. And so I think that's very beneficial for breaking through and moving past. Yeah?
Yes. I had a vision this morning as I went to have breakfast and on my way back here to sit and wait for your call. And the vision was, we're all in this stream of life. We're all floating down, let's say a big river. And we all encounter different things in the river, whether it's a piece of wood or we know there's this giant rock we have to avoid. And if we avoid it and keep avoiding it, then that addiction or whatever is gone. But sometimes the rock appears over and over, and we keep bumping into it until we get the lesson. And Tai Chi, for me, a friend of mine in L.A. one day just said, "Hey, you want to take a Tai Chi class?" And I said, yeah, okay. That was it. We showed up. He never went again. I'm standing there in the Tai Chi class. This was after I had been an aerobic guy all over the world. It was after abs of steel. So I had already had the muscle training and all of the hard energy, let's just call it. And in 1988, I lost my sister and my dad within months of each other, both surprisingly. And so I was at the start of my career, so I emotionally packed that away, focused on becoming the hardest external, having the best body that I could possibly have. So as I started moving in Tai Chi, I started sinking into the softness which is what you do. You sink into the moment, you sink into your leg base, you breathe, you move slowly. And what happened for me, Jason, was that all this emotion came up, and a lot of grief came up, a lot of anger came up, and it scared the hell out of me. And I didn't go back for another month or two, but it kept gnawing at me because I thought, wow, I've got to face this. I've got to slow down. I've got to deal with my emotions, or I'm going to explode. So I finally went back, and Master Tim O'Connor, who I'm indebted to forever, he's in Santa Monica, if anyone ever is in California and wants to take from him. I came in late on purpose because I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to do anything. So I came in late, kind of stood in the back. I remember he just looked over his shoulder and nodded at me like, I knew you'd be back. And then I was in it. From then on, I started thinking, I've got to learn this Tai Chi stuff because it's so vital. Based on my own experience, I wanted to include it in all of my programs. So I slowly started integrating mindfulness and slow-moving Qigong, which are Chinese health and breathing exercises that also accompany Tai Chi. I started incorporating that type of work into my faster programs, into my cardio classes, my conditioning classes, everything. And I noticed that students started to really love it. So then the journey began to create these Discover Tai Chi programs. And as the universe provides, in 2000, I got a call from a company that said, what do you think about creating a series called Discover Tai Chi? And I considered it pardon the French, but it was a creative orgasm for me to be able to be the one to create a fitness-based Tai Chi program that caters to the Western world, because that's how I came about it. I'm not Chinese. I'll never be Chinese. There are plenty of Tai Chi masters all over the world that move better than I do, but it's a lifelong process. It's a journey. So each person's individual movement journey should never be criticized. So that's how I got the DVD series. It was VHS at the time, and then we remastered, authored, and I created more titles after that. So now I own the series, Discover Tai Chi, and that's my label that I keep doing. And I just, at the end of the day, moving slowly in a fast world is quite beneficial for everybody. So life's a mix of yin and yang energies, hard and soft. And if all you do is hard stuff, like let's say a stockbroker in New York, that's all they do, and they have tension, their joints are blocked, they're not breathing throughout the day. If you don't balance that out, at some point it's going to hit you like it did me in that Tai Chi class. I was moving so hard, so fast, having fun, but in denial of my emotions and my grief. And Tai Chi helped me get in touch with that and continues to allow me to soften and breathe and move through, life's issues.
It's a beautifully produced program too, by the way. For those of you who have not yet delved into it, or if you're just a guest on the call, I'd invite you just to download the mobile fitness app. It's a wonderful program. Scott is my favorite instructor on there's 71 different fitness instructors on this app, and I've become intimate with Scott on my back porch through these workouts, and the settings are just beautiful. I mean, you're I guess on a California coast. Is it in California? It's gorgeous.
Actually, we shot the original ones in Hawaii. So
okay.
We've got Hawaii, and then we shot in studio in L.A., and then I did the last Balance and Mobility was in a beautiful contemporary home in Rancho Mirage, California, and then the last one, Discover Tai Chi for Fitness, is shot outside in Palm Springs. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I just want people to understand, because you obviously brought up the fact you're not Chinese, and this Tai Chi itself is not very Western. But yet, when watching the episode of The Doctors, you were covering, just simple balance. And one of the problems that plague all elderly people are falls. And here's a secret, brother. I went to medical school once, and I call it a previous life, and then I got started on this internet thing. But, people don't need to understand that you'll break your hip and then fall, and then worse stuff happens. You'll break your wrist with a fall, et cetera, et cetera. But the awareness of balance, even for elderly folks, not just New York stockbrokers that you talked about, but this is applicable to every single person in every category in a Western society, because we don't even pay attention to breathing, much less just balance and just posture and this energy.
Yeah,
And,
Jason. I say breathe and bend your knees, and you're most of the way there.
yeah.
And you can breathe your way through anything. And if you'll notice, I define stress as the body clogging result of fear-based living.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say it one more time: the body clogging result of fear-based living. And it doesn't matter, like you said, whatever career you're in, however successful you are, or whatever, we all have fear bases. And if you notice, when you're in that fear zone, you're not breathing well, you're probably sweating, and your energy, your chi is energy, your chi will shift upwards in your body. That's why your heart rate quickens, and people get flushed, and they get confused, so the energy is not in the lower body. So this is when you have to take a moment, breathe into your energy, and do what I call sinking the chi. You probably remember that from one of the DVDs, but you bend your knees in horse stance, parallel. You inhale, float the arms upward, palms up. Then you exhale and just literally bring that energy down in your body. And you do that movement as long as you need to kind of calm it down. So the deep breathing can help really bring you back to center. And that's why Tai Chi is called the moving meditation. It's not point A and point B. It's a continuum. And to me, that most resembles life. I mean, we're in a continuum whether we like it or not.
Well,
so you can either fight the stream or you can go with the stream and make the best of it along the way.
I was going through one of your older interviews as well, and you talk about, you bring up life, but you talk about this Tai Chi and this balance, but it also balances you with your community and even with nature. It's a perfect balance to do outside and just do in nature and just enjoy, the birds flying above and whatnot. I mean, the thing I admire most about you, and not to cut you off, I'm sorry, but you obviously stay extremely busy, and you do all of this wonderful stuff for so many other people, and including do quote small stuff like this, but you are incredibly present and balanced in all of this type of stuff, and it's obvious, it's contagious to me, or it's extremely attractive, and I have to have more of that. So if you don't mind, just kind of elaborate on just the balance with nature.
Well, yeah, I mean, you touched on a few things. I was going to say that when I practiced in the park here in Palm Springs for 14 years, every Wednesday, barefoot in the park, we would have red-tailed hawks flying overhead. We'd have coyotes walk up near us as we're moving slowly and take a look at us. So it was quite fascinating to see nature responding to us. Yeah. And what was it? Yeah. Oh, the other thing, being in the moment. Yeah, I think that's one of the toughest things today. We're so distracted with computers and, ADD, and when we eat the wrong foods, it makes our brains go kind of wacky. And being in the moment is if I could give anyone the grandest lesson, and including myself, is to stay in the moment and just realize that there is safety in the moment, no matter what's happening to you. Just breathe and stay present, and that gives you the opportunity to work things out. I think we get into anxiety trouble when we project ahead, or we think, wow, why did this happen, or why am I not at this point in my life, or blah blah blah. The list goes on. But being grateful and staying in the moment is the best thing, and I cannot say that I've mastered that. It's something I have to work on every minute of every day. But I don't like the idea of working on it gosh, I've got to work on that. It's more about surrendering, which I think that's what you do in Tai Chi. You sink into the moment. We do what we call entering the Hall of Harmony for your practice. And in the Hall of Harmony, you sink into a mental, physical space where you allow yourself to move freely and clearly, breathe freely and clearly, and the parallels between yoga and Tai Chi are pretty vast. Prana is breath, life, energy, chi, same thing. And when you're moving through the continuum of Tai Chi, it honors the word vinyasa, which in Sanskrit means breath synchronized movement. So, eerily similar no matter what discipline you're doing. Even if you're kickboxing or pole vaulting, I would say you can meditate while you're pole vaulting. because you're focused, and it means to think deeply. So you're just thinking deeply, thoroughly, smoothly about the task at hand, and that can be work related, it can be relationship oriented, it can be in your fitness classes, it can be anywhere. So it's more of a meditative mindset that's also active. It's not just, back to the, oh, hello, I'm meditating. It's not about that. It's more about being present and in the moment and being aware of what you're doing.
I think you just brought up something for me. I think that's probably one of the most fundamental keys to success is just developing the discipline to remain sustained in that present moment, that moving meditation,
yes.
no matter what you're doing over a long period of time. The longer you can stay in that moment, the more successful obviously you'll be, because distraction ceases to exist and you're kind of that laser focused on whatever you're momentarily focused on.
Yeah, and I meet so many people, both quote successful and otherwise, who I have what I call the "I'm so busy" syndrome. And a friend of mine and I actually joke about it. He'll call me and go, "How you doing?" I go, "Oh, I'm so busy," and we start laughing about being so busy. And one of my friends, Mark Lammers, here in Palm Springs, says, "I'm as busy as I want to be." And I love that because we're all busy in one way or another, or we can be busy. In other words, we can preoccupy ourselves with something. But my deal is I want to have fun doing all this stuff. I have the fun quotient, which is both beautiful but also puts a little pressure on me too, because I don't do anything that I don't enjoy. And I learned that a long time ago. A couple times I went for the carrot, even though my gut said, don't do that. And it never works out in a pleasing way spiritually. You might make money on something, but if it's not out of integrity, you've kind of, in my opinion, lost the battle on that one. So for me, I have to enjoy what I'm doing, and that's why even meeting you and doing the show, I thought, what, I'm going to enjoy the heck out of this, and I am. My gut was, I want to do this, especially on your birthday. Now that we're having this, now that we're having a wellness bromance,
Yeah, exactly. Best birthday present ever, and I sincerely mean that. We're already past the top of the hour, so we're running long. But there's if you don't mind, just one follow-up question, then give us the practical application for the day. I wanted just to bring up this marketing thing that I alluded to at the beginning, simply because you said, I think you were 25 years old, right? The national aerobic champion, right before Abs of Steel. This was the kind of the catapult that changed everything, but you said you relied on your marketing skills. And I don't think marketing has changed that much. Yeah, it's a mechanical process, right? It's selling yourself or putting yourself out there in front of the right people and connecting and whatnot. If we're just starting out with a passion that we know, love, and that fun factor for us, what did you do that's kind of applicable for, say, the person listening in for the first time today?
Well, I've done lectures for entrepreneurs in different universities, and the thing that resounds with me is it's all about building relationships. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world. I actually think the talent is about 20%. The rest of it is building relationships, and also you, the entrepreneur, the person, showing people how much joy you have with what you're doing. I mean, the best emails I get from people are ones that say, you know what, I've tried other Tai Chi things, and yours is fun. You make me laugh. You make me realize that the stuff going on in my body is something we can, all laugh at, because we've all got our stuff going on. And those are the emails that I like the best, because they tell me that, what I'm doing has made sense to them, and it's changed their life in a way that makes for a more lighthearted experience. So building relationships is the number one thing for entrepreneurs, and definitely having your content together, and also good photos. You got to have beautiful visuals, whether it's of you or of your product or whatever it is you're promoting. I learned a long time ago that the dialogue and the visual experience are really big for people to help motivate them to want to hear what you have to say next.
I agree with that. And it's, the good news is for people just starting out, it's easier than ever to produce the good visual stuff. Right?
Yeah, it totally is. You've
got so many apps on your phone, and the quality of the pictures and even the videos. You get high definition video from your phone, and you can take it to Fiverr and get somebody to do it for $5 or something. But I agree. It's absolutely crucial. And
then talking to younger people, I mean, they have all the opportunity in the world now. There's some, I've heard some say, like we all did, oh, there are no jobs out there. Well, you can create whatever you want with the internet. And I actually think there's more opportunity today. And a lot of these young entrepreneurs, we see so many, doing so well with, putting their passions out there and actually making a living at it. I look at money as flow. It's something that will occur naturally when you're in your joyful, centered place like you are in Tai Chi or doing something you love. And when you move from that space, you really can't lose.
Agreed. Yep. We're talking to Scott Cole, scottcole.com. You can go to Facebook and find one of his many fan pages that he's got, or just do a search for Scott Cole, and we'll put a link up with this the recorded podcast on SoundCloud. Scott, one of the ways that I always like to close this call, you opened up the call with it. You take the esoteric woo-woo stuff and make it a practical application, and that is absolutely in sync with everything that we do here on this call. It's better results in your life and business today. I say this, I wish I had a better way of asking this question because it sounds kind of juvenile, but it fits me. What are your? I always like to close the call by making it practical. What are your top 3 tips on how to wake up and be awesome?
Okay. Yeah, I wrote this down this morning. I wrote the esoteric version first, and then I wrote the practical. So the practical is, number 1, we are 80% water, so hydrate with beautiful spring water. Have a big glass of water. So number 1 is hydrate and breathe. So take your time, just have some water, wake up, breathe. You've been asleep all night, so get your body just awake that way. Number 2 is entertain new thoughts. So open your mind in a beautiful way, like, what do I want to do today? Or how do I want to affect others today? Or who do I want to meet today? Or what's open? What does the world have to offer today? So entertain those new thoughts and be open to to what comes your way. Well, actually, number 3 is be open to add layers, and these can be spiritual, mental, physical, emotional layers. Be open to add layers and let go of layers that don't serve you. So if something isn't serving you, just like the Tai Chi, the water flowing around a rock, let it float off of you and be open to add layers that speak to you in better ways. And some people like to write things down. Some people like to say it out loud or just keep it in your mind. So all of those options are good. You don't have to be this meticulous, anal retentive, goal-setting fiend. You can be if that's how you flow. But otherwise, have it in your mind, let it ruminate, create a mantra throughout the day of, number 1, hydrate and breathe. Number 2, entertain new thoughts. Number 3, be open to add layers and let go of layers that don't serve you.
Can I ask you one follow-up question with that?
Yeah.
Just so that for my personal edification, when you say let go of layers that don't serve you, can you just give an example of that? Just so that I know, because I want to take your advice, and because I've got a things that I feel like aren't serving me, and for example, Facebook, I just made a 30-day commitment, I'm just going to kind of ignore that.
I saw that you're, coming off of Facebook. That's good.
Well, I'm not coming off. I'm just going to try new things.
Yeah, no, that would be great. So you're, and I think when you let go of the layers, let go of it lovingly, without judgment and without anger if possible. And a layer can be a relationship that doesn't serve you, maybe someone that you feel is their energy, you're not vibrating at a high level with them, and maybe they are the rock in the stream for you that you need to avoid for a while until you can figure that out, and perhaps forever. So you let go of a layer of a bad relationship. You let go of eating donuts every Tuesday morning, whatever. You let go of maybe say, you know what, I've been drinking too much alcohol. I'm going to limit it to 1 glass of wine per night, something like that. To where you let go of a layer one bit at a time, and that way you're not shocking your life by trying to cut out everything and then having panic set in, and then you go off the wagon on whatever issue it is.
Got it.
Does that help? Does that help?
Completely. Yeah, especially, good. For example, like on my birthday. Because, and this sounds ridiculous, but, the relationships part that you brought up, it's just a process of, we can call it forgiveness or whatever, but it's just the loving letting go and just saying, you know what, thank you for that experience. Just, and thank you for showing up in my life today, but I've just kind of let go and moved on. Even if that person was,
And I recently learned this from an older psychologist friend of mine who is so great. His term is, it just doesn't matter. So in the moments when you're feeling like you're angry at someone, or why did they do this, or why didn't this happen, just kind of say out loud, you know what, it just doesn't matter, because it means that the universe has something else in mind for you. And if we dwell on that negativity, it kind of pulls us down in other areas. So dismiss it lovingly and just say it just doesn't matter. And if it does matter, it will come around again. So
I'm actually writing that down. That's going to be another little take-home point for me today. It just doesn't matter. I hope everybody's got at least half of the stuff that I've got out of this. I've got 2 pages of notes over here. Thank you so much. My brother, we've run long. I do appreciate so much your generosity and your graciousness for not only being here today, but we've went 11 minutes past the top of the hour, and so it's been one of the most profound and experiential calls that I can remember. And I just genuinely thank you, and I hope that you'll call me anytime, but more than anything, you'll call me your friend, and I hope that you'll come back and join us again sometime soon.
Absolutely. Let's stay in touch, and, happy birthday. I wish I was there so I could take you out. We can go party a little bit.
Well, and you take me to the local cobbler shop so I could fix those $100 flip-flops that I got because I had a blowout in Cambodia.
There you go. Yeah, I need to send you some flip-flops for your birthday.
I took the $1 pair this time. Those work much better than $100 pair. I was riding a motorcycle through the jungle of Cambodia, and the damn thing blew out, and I was like, figures, I knew I was going to come out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, anyway, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much, my friend. Scott Cole again, folks, for those of you dialing in late, scottcole.com. He's got a little box there on the bottom of the website. Subscribe to get his newsletter. Discover Tai Chi and Disco Dojo are in the Morning Ignition mobile fitness app, which won the 2012 Mobile Fitness App of the Year for the iPad. And Scott is an absolute, and for the ladies, he's a very attractive man, and I think you should go like his Facebook page right now because it's just eye candy if nothing else. No no bromance too much. That is a good, I'm comfortable with the bromance, Scott. Thanks, man.
Yeah, we're having a wellness bromance. I'm okay
bromance.
with it, too.
The world needs more wellness bromance.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, my friend. You've been an absolute gentleman and a patriot. And for now, my friends and neighbors, this call is a wrap.